Everyone, my name is Alex, and today I'm going to be talking about the subculture that I picked for my microculture video project that I'm a part of, and that would be rave culture. To me, this microculture is important because it has to do with people genuinely enjoying life and having a good time with their friends, listening to live music, and just being in a place that creates a strong sense of community, which I feel like we don't really have in everyday life. And I think that this microculture is something that I love to be a part of, and I want to share it with everyone. In this presentation, I will be describing exactly what a rave is and why it is considered to be a microculture. I'll also be giving some history on the origins of raves and how prevalent they are in today's society. A rave is a gathering of a large group of people that usually takes place in a large area outdoors, usually like a racetrack or like a sports arena. And people gather at these raves in order to listen to live music and dance with their friends. When people think about raves, they associate them with EDM or electronic dance music. EDM music encompasses varying genres of music that uses synthesizers, keyboards, vocals, turntables, and other instruments in order to create exciting and upbeat rhythms that promote dancing. This music is amplified in large settings, like I stated before, like a large field or a large stadium, where a large mass of people congregate and large speakers generate a deep bass sound. These raves originally come from. In the 1980s, Chicago, Illinois was the home of varying kinds of psychedelics and electronic music that eventually spread to other U.S. cities. As the scene expanded, it became an underground or a subculture that not everyone in the dominant society was a part of. These gatherings usually took place in clubs, bars, or even basements and were most popular among young people who just wanted to enjoy themselves. Variations of EDM music included acid house, techno, dubstep, and electronica music. By the 1990s, the music began emerging across all of the United States and also in varying European cities. While rave music is still played in discrete settings like clubs or concert halls around the world, its emergence into pop culture scene in the 2010s has allowed for prominent industry players to garner support necessary in order for them to be able to play large venues and grand arenas. Also in 2010, the term EDM, or electronic dance music, came to encompass many different subgenres of dance music that evolved from house music that included trance, big room, future house, dubstep, progressive house, and many others. Raving now applies to attending massive international festivals like Tomorrowland, which in 2017 attracted over 400,000 fans over 2 weekends and paid millions of dollars for world-famous DJs. In today's day and age, why is raving still considered to be a microculture? Originally, these places became stereotyped as places for young, drug-obsessed, hippie-like groups to congregate. The scene was unaccepted by law enforcement, most of the mainstream media, and the general public. People viewed raves as a hub for dangerous activity and didn't see them as the happy place that us who are a part of this microculture do see it as. Ravers were not always accepted by the general public and still even aren't in today's society. A lot of people, mostly older people, are aware of the concept of a rave but haven't been to one themselves, thus leading them to believe everything that they hear, which is mostly negative. Just because someone goes to a rave once doesn't mean that they're automatically a part of this microculture. It's all about what you wear, the way that you move, the way you dance, and your overall attitude. Just because you show up doesn't mean that you're necessarily a raver. That being a part of rave culture has to do with what you wear. This means mostly everyone, even guys, wear fun, colorful clothes and cover themselves in glitter for these festivals. These clothes are usually a part of the subculture because they are specific to raves, and people don't typically wear these outfits in their day-to-day lives. People specifically go shopping at different stores like thrift shops in order to find unique clothing that they can wear as a way to express themselves and to truly be a part of this microculture. Outfits usually consist of neon or metallic materials or glitter, like I said before. An example of this can be seen in my pictures actually from the last music festival that I went, and now I will show you some pictures of myself and my friends and what we were wearing and why our clothes make us part of this microculture. In addition to these brightly colored clothes, people often wear bright colored beaded bracelets that you may have seen in the previous pictures. These bracelets are called Kandi, K-A-N-D-I. In rave culture, candy is not just an accessory. These bracelets are homemade. They usually have words on them that mean something to the people wearing them. An example of this would be my candy that I was wearing at the last music festival I went to. One of the bracelets says Best Buds on it because my best friend made it for me, and the other that I'm wearing says Mrs. Excision because Excision is an EDM artist that is one of my favorites, and I wanted to show my support for him. These are interesting and a part of the rave microculture because people trade these bracelets with other ravers, and it's a way for them to interact with other people and to kind of have fun mementos from your favorite events and relive your experiences at them. Do a close-up of my bracelets so that you can see them. A huge part of the rave microculture that is specific to this microculture is the acronym PLUR. This acronym stands for Peace, Love, Unity, and Respect. This subculture or microculture exemplifies this idea in many ways. For example, ravers' behavior is typically much more polite than everyday people that you might see on the street. For example, normally when people bump into each other during passing, one of them may roll their eyes at the other or ignore the situation and not say sorry, or some people may even get mad. At a rave, usually when two people bump into each other, they both apologize, smile at each other, and maybe even greet each other and tell the other to have a good night and enjoy listening to music. People at this subculture are generally friendlier, happier, and honestly just more wild than any other dominant culture in our society. The purpose of PLUR is to create a positive environment for everyone, and this microculture does a really good job of making sure that that's the number one rule in our microculture. Now it's time for some fun facts about the rave microculture. One fun fact is a part of the rave culture that is typically seen as a negative is the promoted use of the stimulant MDMA, or as we usually call it in our society, ecstasy. But despite popular belief, not everyone, including myself, at raves do drugs. You can have fun without doing these drugs. Some people just choose to enhance their experience at music festivals with these drugs, and some may think that it's necessary in order for them to have fun there. Fun fact about raves that actually kind of has to do with the first fun fact is that people usually perceive these events to be dangerous, mostly because of the promoted drug use. Personally, I have found that they are some of the safest places to be. There are police officers throughout the festival. There's an initial check-in where they pat you down and you walk through a metal detector to make sure that you don't have any illegal substances or anything that could harm anyone. There are constantly people walking around the music festival with spray bottles with water in them and fans in order to keep everyone cool and make sure that no one overheats. There are also EMTs on the premises in case something unfortunate like that does happen. And there are also water stations set up all around festivals where you can fill up your water bottles as much as you'd like, absolutely for free. Number 3 is studies have found that dancing frequently reduces the effects of dementia. Einstein College of Medicine found that dancing had the greatest risk reduction of any activity studied. Additionally, a study by the New England Journal found that freestyle dancing reduces the risk of dementia by 76%. This can be explained because it seems that the following intricate steps and adapting movement to music keeps your body and brain on point. This is relevant to the raving microculture because dancing is a huge part of this microculture, and the point of listening to live music and being around such a large group of people is in order to dance and get lost in the music. Number 4 is that EDM, or electronic dance music, is now truly a global genre exemplified by the famous Ultra Music Festival, which for 20 years has been the mecca for dance music in Miami. Now, not only is this festival held in the United States, but this festival is hosted in Croatia, Mexico, Indonesia, South Africa, Thailand, Argentina, and other countries. A disproportionate number of DJs come from Europe, specifically the Netherlands. DJs like Calvin Harris, Tiesto, and the duo The Chainsmokers are ranked in around $40 million each in 2017, according to Forbes. This fun fact happens to be my favorite, and it's that your brain releases dopamine, which is a chemical that is partially responsible for making you feel happy when you're listening to music that you love. This is part of the reason why raves are such a happy place and why people have so much fun and spend a lot of money in order to experience things like this. I personally am a lover of EDM music, so hearing this music live instead of just listening to it on my phone is such an emotional experience for me, and it truly makes me feel blessed and makes me feel like I'm enjoying my life and that this is a place that I should be and a place that I belong to. In my presentation, I'll show you a short clip of one of my favorite moments that I had at my last music festival, and this was one of my favorite songs that I got to hear live.